Kundalini Support. I'm Jason at awakenedessence.com. The prior video that I recorded yesterday was about the dangers of Kundalini. So I sort of went into a 1 hour video talking about what it is, what it does, how dangerous it is, and to really ask you to check in regards to if it's something you're trying to chase. Yeah, so I used the metaphor of the average human being like a 6-volt wire, and Kundalini is a 5 megawatts. And if you put that many watts or that many volts through a 6-volt piece of wire, what happens? It blows up, it melts. So before I came here today, I just thought I'd quickly check what some of the more advanced teachers and books have said about Kundalini, so I'm accurate. And yeah, Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, if I pronounce that correct, yeah, he confirmed it 100%. It is a very, very potent process that uses some interesting language. In the web page here, there'll be a link, an icon, a YouTube icon to tap for you to watch what he says about it. And everything I said in that video checks out 100%. And that's the thing with what I've learned over the years and what I've been taught from these guys and my experiences is that I can write this stuff in my diaries and have very detailed information, and then later it's just totally confirmed. So, have you had Kundalini? Do you need support? I can offer some levels of support with that, because correct presence practice is all about getting you in your body, so you're aware of your neurology, so you can relax your anatomy, your physiology, and your neurology to settle if you've literally been burnt by Kundalini. And in that video I discuss the chronic health issues that I have as a result of that. So from what I've heard over the years from people and people talking to people like Ajashanti and other things I've seen when I was on my spiritual trip before I decided that presence was it and focused on that and awoke to phase 3 abidance within 5 years, is that correct presence practice is the fastest way to awaken. And when you're awake, you have the focus, you have the groundedness, you have the attention span to do what Jaggi Vasudev references in that video I saw earlier. You have the ability to jump into the abyss where you have no control. Do you have that ability? I was serious. Can you hold presence, grounded, step 3 of correct presence practice, and even the divine yum yum, and snap bones? Because it's only just grown back, but I snapped my thumbnail at the end of 2019. Yeah, I was present. Yeah, I was yelling swear words. Yeah, because of the part of the country I was in, I actually didn't get an x-ray till 4 weeks later. So, you know, this is the thing. If you're going to throw yourself into that most dangerous of places that can have serious consequences because you're trying to force it, very beneficial to be phase 3, abiding presence awake at least, if not truly phase 4, deeply settled. Because when it happened to me, I wasn't, and I was literally thrown into the abyss, and the first few times it was okay, and then the other ones were excruciating. Yeah, so watch that video, see how your concentration goes with the parrots, because they were certainly on crazy mode. I'll try and keep them calmer today. Oh, here we go, the fighter is on the bench. Come on, darling. So in terms of support for Kundalini, what I can offer here is coaching you into presence, The 9-pillar framework will assist you. You can home study that, or we can work with it in coaching. And the Correct Presence Practice course is very definitive to get you in your body, in your neurology, in your inner body. Those meditations are just me prompting you non-stop with, I cover various issues and processes to help you to be more present, to develop the habit. The Laws of Grace covers a lot more. How to stabilize it, routine development, the potholes, the typical spiritual myths that people really love. Well, of course, Kundalini is one of the big ones. Everybody wants it because it's so potent, and you think when it's happened you're enlightened. You're not. You still have to train your conscious mind and your unconscious mind, because your Kundalini energy is, like Jaggi Vasudev says, it's beyond this dimension. It is, you know, throwing yourself into the void where you have no control. You can't really control Kundalini. I talked about how I could move it around, and that was just when it was nice. But when it's horrible, if you need to move it, it's damaging as it does it. Yeah, I'm getting serious, but this is very serious. It's like playing with a nuclear warhead, literally. That's the sort of energy it is. Your atoms boil, as I said in the other video. It's really worth watching that one first and then come back here. But I'm telling you how I can support you, then I'll tell you who else might be able to help. So, coaching, presence practice, healing processes. You can learn the golden ray to help activate some of your esoteric structures, because golden ray is baked all the way through them. Check out those videos. And as part of that too, I do Phoenix healing attunements with you. So that is from a very high level. Adjustments to your Merkaba are done through Phoenix healing if required. Again, it's beyond personal will what I get shown in that level. It's not about you and I will say, oh, we're going to do this and we'll go and do it. No. It's grace-based healing. That way you get what you can handle. Some of it might be time locked, and that is you get the structures installed and they don't activate until, again, you're capable of handling it. Otherwise you get harsh grace. Yeah. And that's what happened to me. I didn't know what it was. It got stuck in my face. I've just had a second round of surgery in my face, and I got 3 root canals halfway through. That's consequences. That's expensive. So with Phoenix healing, it's like a 4-hour process, you know. We sort out what's required. I do the Phoenix healing, and then we have follow through, because it's so powerful with what it does. Follow-up's needed, because it's a T-intersection and life type process when you play with your higher structures. Unlike the trickle-down effect with companies saying they earn lots of money, therefore they'll help society. No, with Phoenix healing, the trickle-down happens from your Merkabas, your soul up there, that's given via grace. It does trickle down through your energy systems, and through your Sushumna, through your chakras, through your soul aspects inside your body, your core star, your heart spark, your unconditional love matrix, and all those good things. Yeah. If you want to, like I indicated in that first video, I said, you know, you'll need to find a blazing tantric teacher who would be way beyond level 6 transpersonal, phase 6 transpersonal, sorry, that I've been in for the last 7 years. And you'll need to hang out with them. 1, pillar 6, support their bandwidth and hopefully their experience and knowledge of what's required to bring you into that place where it's balanced and move it through. And Jaggi Vasudev talks about that in that video. which means living in his ashram, having the austere life. And it takes time. So that's why I teach what I teach here, which is correct presence practice. I'll do the 4-ingredient overview to explain how it helps with Kundalini. What do you want? What you're doing about it? Phase 1. Well, if you've had Kundalini come through and it's damaged you, yeah, you're going to need, it's not a want anymore, isn't it? What do you need? You need to get yourself back into balance so you can cope. Oh yeah, big time. So we work on your structures, 9-pillar framework, correct presence practice, law 0, where you tune your self-honesty, your self-responsibility, your internal acuity to assist your system coming back, so you're here with whatever damage has been done with the Kundalini, like I do with my face. So when you go and see the digging into blind spots video, where I'm out in the bush before this second operation, yeah, I talk about how I'm feeling. Very gluggy, foggy, because of the sheer levels of toxicity in my system. Physical manifestation. Yeah, God was still with me. God's been with me since, during the phase 3 process, because once you hit phase 4, it really doesn't leave. Whether I'm hit by a car, breaking bones, having seals leaping out of the water at me, nearly standing on tiger snakes, they're all in the Learn Whispering course. Corporate bullies, taking them to court. You need to consciously master your volitional attention, which is the 4th ingredient, which binds everything. What do you want? What you're doing? Your structures of presence, the structures of the awakening phases, and the evidence, which sometimes too is reflected externally by events. If you go to those ashrams where those huge bandwidth masters hang out, like Jaggi Vasudev, yeah, and it was August 2012 actually, he sat next to me in an engineering course here. Grace fluked that for me. But just being in the room with me totally cooked me up to be the universe. He is a genius level teacher. I don't know what levels he's at, but he can flatline the ECG and EEG machines. That's the command he has over his neurology and all of his, over his structures. That's what a master is. He hasn't floated off and become invisible and gone into 5D like the ascension people like to talk about. It's a very real thing. Very real, and he's very, very grounded. Check out the bandwidth video as well. So if you go to a place like that, he's obviously there, and he will probably have people that are trained in such a way that they can help you with that. And that little video there, he talks about the specifics. So he talks about 114 chakras, and that there's 112 ways to open them. And he says his usual sort of vague stuff, like a dog barking is Kundalini because it's life force. Yeah, it is. But when your atoms are boiling and it sounds like hail that's hitting a tin roof, that's the real McCoy, the powerful stuff. And that chasing it and trying to activate it is dangerous. And for some people, it just happens. And these are generally the people that make contact with me or I talk to. And it can have an effect. It can open cities and spiritual powers and all sorts of other stuff. But spiritual powers are, thank you, a distraction. Your conscious presence here in the moment, holding your body, embody your you-ness, the allowingness that allows everything to be, which would also include your higher self, so you can embody the divine, the infinite, nothing before any phenomena known as the noumenon, the I am, the isness, ising, the non-sparkling sparkle, or as my heart brain likes to call it, my inner child, the yum yum. And that's as vague as we get here, describing step 4 of correct presence practice. God. Here he is. You're the boss, mate, aren't you, eh? Come up, show the people. Good boy, girl. So then you don't find yourself needing one of those. The ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. Or if the Kundalini blows a gasket upstairs, you know, the padded cell. That's why I don't recommend Class A drugs, because you're not in conscious control. But that's another video. So in terms of books, there's some books by Swami Satyananda Saraswati, who's now departed this earth. His books were really amazing, very specific, and he too points out that it's dangerous stuff. Get yourself to abiding presence first at least. Yeah, and if you are serious about the Kundalini, then you will awaken to phase 3 as defined by this framework here, this website, with your correct presence practice, easily with 3 years, because that's the sort of focus you'll need if you do fire up Kundalini. Otherwise it's rescue work, eh? And that's the other thing with it, you know. Those guys give you the energetic support and they can see what's going on, they can tune into you like I do when I do coaching or Phoenix healing. To check out your structures and your bandwidth. So a normal person's bandwidth, as I say in the bandwidth video, you know, a normal person is unconscious, they're all in their head, as are a lot of people that do non-dual stuff, because they say there's no doer. Well, there is. It's called conscious volitional attention. So when the Kundalini does rip through, you can, with your attention and focus and your neurology that you've opened up and made, you know, the wires in there from 6 volts, capable of carrying the 5 megawatts you're going to come across, mate. Come on, you know I don't feed parrots up there. They do learn. They do. Very quickly. If only humans learnt as fast as cockatoos, we'd have peace on Earth on this planet, eh? Very intelligent animals. So yeah, the expensive option is to go and live in India for a year or 2 in an ashram. That's certainly a very extreme level of commitment and motivation, as I talk about in the motivation pages, you know. What do you want, what you're doing about it? Yeah, that's serious. That's why I went to India and hung out with Shaktiyama for 23 days. Totally stabilised me in the non-abiding transpersonal, because again, the esoteric stuff happened to me. I had a transpersonal male Merkaba initiation in front of Amma the Hugging Saint earlier that year, and then had the twin flame one at Shaktiyama's ashram, and then 2 years later I had the female transpersonal off of Amma the Hugging Saint here in Melbourne again, just sitting in the room with her. Double twin flame from masters whose level of awakening, phase of awakening, I can't even start to even know what it is. I'd have to have a good chat with them, but those guys are very hard to talk to, eh? They're impossible to talk to unless you fluke it like I did. Hello. So I just made reference in this video so far about your attention span, your law 0, your ability to be self-honest and self-responsible. And as part of that, your acuity, i.e. what's going on inside, how's your inner body going, what's your neurology doing, how's your depth of stillness, how long does it last, you know, all the different nuances there. It's the same structures that you learn with animal whispering. So I can see that old Tangles, his stump where his foot fell off, it's fairly obvious that it's still sore with the way he's moving. So the skills you learn with your correct presence practice, again, they'll help you to be a master of life. It's the same stuff I teach at studentsuccesstutor.com to help students. And I teach them whole brain study skills. That's what led to this whole spiritual path for me, eh? That's in the overview videos as well. So if you want to have Kundalini and you're chasing it, make sure you have everything ready for it. Because it's no fun when you're not. Speaking from experience, and also the experience of talking to many that have had it and they've got lots and lots of trouble. And again, because this website's all about specificity and measurability, and has a bit of a, you could call it an agenda against cults and brainwashing. It's important if you go to an ashram you understand the structure of cults and the indicators, so you go in with your eyes open so you can hang out there and not turn into someone who gives their own personal authority away. If you go into devoteeship, you don't have to give your spiritual authority away, your inner authority. The idea is to be conscious and come from law zero. Observe the actions of a good spiritual compass, moral compass, which could easily be defined as, would the person on the receiving end of that regret it in 5 years' time and take you to court? That's the common sense wording for it. Very specific. Because I got involved with a megalomaniac teacher, enlightened one, who brainwashed my friends and did his best to break me. It didn't work, because I'm internationally certified as an NLP trainer right back in the year 2000, and I was damn good at it. I had one of the best teachers on the planet helping me. Again, pillar 6, role models, support, coaches. Whee! State change. The alert call of the noisy miner. Are you present? So a support system for you is an ashram. Jaggi Vasudev is the real McCoy. His teaching is can be quite vague and you know, at the level of a beginner, to help the beginners. I mean, he's doing a great job. He looks after people, and if you're serious, he's got all the advanced stuff there for you, but you will be in that environment, and that's what he says in that video as well. You can't be in society while you're working on this stuff. Whereas what I teach here is it has to be practical and in the world, and hence, you know, I talk about my life experiences and taking this into the corporate world where my energy bodies took out 3 stories of a skyscraper in the Melbourne CBD. It did. And I made sure it was with me the whole time, because that was my test. So in terms of support, those are your options. Get yourself ready beforehand, phase 3, preferably phase 4, if not transpersonal, before you do the other things to activate it. I have tried activating it, but it'll only go when it's ready, unless you do have some sort of special super techniques. I mean, the books I've mentioned actually tell you how to do it. That assumes you have the ability to work with those energetic bodies, which can take years and years of practice. Like I said, and I have say in many videos, 12 years before I started the presence practice focus only, I could generate bliss and live in that place for like 5 months. But it wasn't real. I was actually activating one of the esoteric bodies, the bliss body and the higher mental body. And I'd had huge unity awakening experiences before the Kundalini. So get yourself ready. Awaken consciously through presence, which is what this entire website is about. Learn how to energy heal. Golden ray. It's cooked through your entire system. It's part of our makeup. That's why I'm teaching it. Gold ray 1 is the same as Reiki 2.5. And the symbol, one of the symbols, well, both of the symbols inside Golden Ray 1 are very similar to half of your Merkaba, one part of it, your personal Merkaba. So that's your esoteric structures, and that feeds everything. Go and see a tantric master, a proper phase, something really big number that I can't talk about because I don't live it yet, like Sadhguru, who knows about the 114 chakras and all the different ways you can open it, and hang out with him. I would seriously check the credentials of anybody who claims that they are a tantric master and will help you to raise your Kundalini. Jumping up and down and jiggling like Osho does with his tantric type dancing meditation-y things, that's just new age waffle, because Osho played the game. He was also a Me Too master, up to 4 ladies a night. Big Me Tooer. That's why he teaches, you know, sexual sexual promiscuity, because it suited his personal agenda. That's not what a good person would do. That's go to jail material. But if you don't have a moral compass, then go for it, eh? You might pay the consequences. There's always consequences. God gives us tests. Are you going to be a moral person, or are you going to, I'm going to use this word, screw people, be it financially or otherwise? So Raphael Aron is basically Australasia's top cult academic. He's been in cults. His book, Cults Too Good to Be True, is a definite read. It's in the cult page, his indicators, and watch them. Yeah, advertising on TV is the same. Yep, all church, all religions are a form of cult. It just comes down to the degree. Because when you're dealing with stuff like Kundalini, it goes into the non-dimensional spaces. So those sorts of organisations, you know, like ashrams with genuine attained gurus, teachers, are where you can be helped the most. But you need to keep your personal authority with your eyes open. And that's why there's the 3-brain video and the inner child video, because unlike Eckhart Tolle that says worry has no purpose, it certainly does. Because if you're seeing stuff and you're getting concerned, you need to get specific about what it is. What up here is bugging you that's activating your solar plexus brain, so then it can align with your heart brain, so all 3 align. Go and see those 2 videos and those 2 pages. That's all part of the healing process, which you will learn to master as you develop your own personal inquiry skills to process the things that stop you being present, to undo, as I quite often say, the bad habits, because you are a habit machine, because that's what your unconscious mind is. Your ego isn't a problem, your ego is just the boundary device. Also with the Golden Ray and Reiki, there is the, and I sat here as I made that video, the probation process, where you take on someone that I give to you that I've thoroughly vetted through the vetting process, and then you build that relationship with them. And in the videos on all about that, I talk about this process and how they come in. If this is your ego and you merge with a master or, you know, a dark entity, if that's your ego, you know, like their thoughts, their emotions, their energetic bandwidth can come into your system and help you, you know, expand out and become a bigger identity device. Those processes are explained in the healing courses. So you get to learn the grey areas with your Law Zero about where you stop in terms of you, your name on your driver's license, birth certificate, identity, ego thing, because that's you. That's That's your volition device. Yeah, that's the first time I've used that word, volition device. I like that. That's what you are. You're a volition device that can carry God. So when this gets ready, you do. Your neurology, your psychology flips. So you do abide in presence phase 3, and then it deepens because all the other habits fall away. And your habits will be falling away for the rest of this life. Sadhguru, who's way more advanced that I can't even talk about, he's still learning stuff. He's learning how to manage, as he says to Gordon Ramsay in that video on YouTube. It's so funny, you've got to watch it. He goes, oh, I've got 1 million children. Yeah, he has. He's got a million devotees or whatever. If he says jump, they'll jump. Yeah, you can jump if you want. If he told me to jump, I'd jump because I respect the man. Doesn't mean I give my authority away. I check. I test. So yeah, big topic, and it covers many of the things that are already in this website. Make contact if it's happened to you. That's why my number's at the bottom of the page. Have a quick free chat or come into coaching. Were you present during that video? In all the courses I just prompt you non-stop, and in some of the videos in the YouTube channel and the website, it's there. The evidence is blatant every second of life, eh? Am I here? Good question, thank you Eckhart Tolle. Now check the 4 steps, because if you don't check the 4 steps, you're not. Unless you're phase 3 and you've checked the 4 steps instantaneously because your neurology's flipped and so has your psychology. See you in the next video. I'm Jason at awakenessence.com.